Hello everyone, I hope you're well. Welcome to my YouTube and welcome to my small little craft room here in Cheshire. I hope you're all well. Now I've come by, as I always do, for a little play, so that if like me you love being creative, you can join along or you can skip parts or whatever you wish. But I hope to inspire you just a little bit. So what I've got is I've picked bits and pieces that are lying around my craft room, and what I mean about that is I've given my craft room a total blitz, but there was literally a handful of products just on my desk and I thought I'll use them. So what I've got is a 4.5 inch by 6.5 inch, so 4.5 by 6.5 inch piece of Pink Frog smooth card 300 GSM. I've then got the same Pink Frog card, a card blank, folded top edge 5 by 7. I'm going to use those. I've got my copier paper. Can you believe it? I've actually got my copier paper. And the only reason I've got my copier paper is because it was already out. So it's not that I was organised, it was already there on my desk. So the other thing that was on my desk before I tidied it away was my gel press. So I thought, why not use the gel press? So I've got my gel press. So we'll just take the gel press out of the packaging. My poor little gel press is so well used. There we go. As you can see, it's very well used. It must be one of the first ones when the gel press came out. It's years old, absolutely years old. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use one colour, which is Scorched Timber. The only products I've got on my desk are my snippet stencils, so I'll probably use the bird. I've got Take Flight and I've got Malva. I may use them all, I may use one product, but those are what are on my desk, so I will use them. I may have to sneak a little sentiment out of my branched heart, but I've got my wood chips on my desk, so we'll use them, because then I will tidy these products away. And then my craft room's had a bit of a blitz because I've done that many projects. I'd got things absolutely everywhere, so I've had a good tidy up and it clears the brain. That's what I think anyway. And have you seen the weather? Yesterday, I mean, I'm turning into one of them people that talk about the weather all the time, but I was going to go in the garden yesterday. It hailed, then sunshine, then rain, then gale force winds. It couldn't make its mind up. I'm turning into one of them people that talks about the weather all the time. I'm showing my age. What am I like? Anyway, Distress Oxide. The only reason I talk about the weather is because I love the garden so much and I like to get out in the garden. So I love to have gardening time, craft time, downtime. I don't want much, do I? Get on with the project, Tracy. So we're going to use Distress Oxide Scorched Timber. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply the Scorched Timber directly to my gel press. Just not thinking about it too much. I'm just applying it all over. And as you can see, you can't see a thing anyway. But this is my oxide ink, so it takes nicely to the gel press. So let's just, there we go. So that's a good layer of ink, and you can see I don't have to rush. Now, you don't have to use browns if you don't wish. It's entirely up to you which colour you use, but I just fancied using the oxide ink, the new colour, the Scorched Timber, and plus I've just got some more stock of these in, so I thought why not use them. Right, so what I'm going to do then is I'm going to take my snippet stencil. Which one am I going to I've just said the bird, Tracy, so take the bird like you said you're going to. Right, so you just have to bear with me and give me a little bit more thinking time. So I'm going to have that there, I think, yes. So we're going to place, so in a minute. So if you place it that way, take it. I have to think, so you put that on there. Yeah, that's all right, yeah. My brain's ticking over. Honestly, it's a small brain, so it takes time. So I'm going to place my little bird just on there. And what I'm going to do is make sure that makes good contact with the gel press. So let's just press this down, just so that it presses on the ink, in other words. So it makes contact with that ink. There we go. That's it. So what I'm going to do then is I want to add a little touch of re-inkers. So I'm going to give these a shake side to side. There we go. And we will start with salvaged patina distress oxide. And we'll just add a little blob. Now, you don't have to have the re-inkers. You can use your sprays. You can use whatever you've got. So what I'm going to do then is move my card out of the way, and I'm just going to add some water to that. And you can see how concentrated that is. So I'm just going to take the colour, use it on my fan brush, and then you can take off the big blobs, and then I'm just going to add, she says confidently, some splatters just of the, what was the bluey colour? Salvage patina. Trying to remember to tell you the colours. So I'm just adding the salvage patina. Now, if it's not watered down enough for you, because it's such a concentrated mix, you can then just add a little bit more water. And the oxide will react because there's moisture in there. So what I'm going to do is just give that brush a little bit of a wash. I've just got a little bowl of water. Well, it isn't a bowl, I've got a little palette of water, mainly because I don't want to take up too much of my desk. And can you see, I'm not rushing this. There's no need to be in too much of a rush. And the only reason I've given that a little bit of a wash is so that I can then add the next colour. Now, you don't have to waste that. You can mop that up onto a piece of card should you wish. So I'm then going to take cracked pistachio. Take a little bit of cracked pistachio. Again, just a little blob. It's funny, I clean my desk and then I still see another splatter. Then I'm going to take a little bit of water. And again, I can take that cracked pistachio and I can add some of the cracked pistachio. There we go. Again, you can easily add that, should you wish, to another card so that you don't waste the colour. Now, now's the time to look at your project. And I got rid of that blue and I want a little bit more because the green is a little bit more overpowering than the salvage patina. And that's what I like. What I like is there's no rush. I can just take my time and I don't have to panic that something's going to happen. It's absolutely fine. I've got a little bit of kitchen roll just on one side. I can even lift my project up and just wipe the area just so that I'm working in a clean space. Now, yes, I'm going to, are you going to lift it up? I don't know whether to lift it up or leave it in place. I think I'm going to lift it up. So you could take the print with the bird there if you wish. But I've lifted that up. And now I'm going to take a print. If it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. We'll take another print. So let's take this here. And can you see? No rushing. No rushing whatsoever. I can just take my time, place my card on there. My gel press is 5x7, so a little bit bigger than my piece of card, which is 4.5 by 6.5. Now, can you see that you've got the bird impression on there? But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a print again and see if I prefer the other one. So bear with me while I get a piece of card. What you should always remember with the gel press is cut more pieces of card than you actually need. Okay, so we've got our card. I've got another piece of card here. So I've got the one with the sort of the bird like this. And then I'm going to do it the other way. So we've got two prints. So take your Distress Scorched Timber. And it doesn't matter if you miss little areas of your gel press, that's absolutely fine. And what this is our playtime together, where we have a little bit of experimenting and we have a little bit of playtime together. So let's place the bird on there again. Let's use the end of the brush again just to make sure it just makes good contact. Let's repeat the same process. But whilst we're here, we'll keep this card here as well, because we'll add a few splatters there as well. So I'm going to take the salvage patina again. So let's take the salvaged patina and let's add some water to that. Keeping this card here as well, so we can add some of the splatters, just like we've done, but this time directly to the card. There will still be moisture in that card. So just adding a little bit more water, just so that I can splatter that a little bit more, just over the card. So let's just clean our area up. And it's very concentrated, so you could easily mop that up and create another background. So then I'm going to add the cracked pistachio. So let's add a little bit of the cracked pistachio. And that's why I like products so much, particularly stamps and stencils, because you can do so much with them. There we go. Let's clean that up. Let's give that a little bit of a wipe. Just cleaning my brush just so that it's not left with the oxide ink in there. In other words, I'm being good for a change. Just cleaning up after myself so that we're working in a clean area. I like working in a clean area because then it doesn't contaminate anything else that I am doing at the time. And this is just our playtime together. This is what we're just having a play. So I've got the same size card, 4.5 by 6.5. And then I'm just going to place the card, this time leaving the stencil in place. So this time I've not moved that stencil. Okay, just so you can see what we've got. And this is fine because I shall add some colour afterwards. So I need some, why did I put it away? So I need some splatters on this one as well. I've done it again, haven't I? Keep putting it away and then saying, oh, I need a few splatters on this one. So let's have a few splatters on this one. So we've got a little bit of green on the other one and no green on this one. Let's again just clean that area. I've even emptied my bin so I can actually get something into the bin. And then I'm just going to add a few sort of blotches because it'll still react with the water, and I shall show that when we have finished. Just give that a few moments just to do the reacting, and you can see it reacts beautifully. There we go. And what I'm just going to check, where's my brush? Let's take a clean piece of this kitchen roll, or else we can't see. So, some water. Does this still react with the water? Let's see if you pick any. Yes, it still reacts because my water is changing. So just take your time in whatever you're doing and have a little play with your projects. Just have a little play. I love having a play and not rushing what I'm doing. I absolutely love it. just so you can, I knew I was going to cough then. Just so you can see, you've got two completely different looks at the moment. So what I'm going to do then is, I think I'll just give the card a little bit of a dry. I'm actually going to give it a dry before I go over with an anti-static bag, because you just want to make sure that, you know, your embossing isn't going to stick where you don't want it to stick. And it's nice to make each one look a little bit different. Let's just take the beard off there. There may be still some ink on there that you can take another print from. So it's worth, well, there's definitely some ink on there which I'll take the print with. So I shall spritz that and take the print. So what I'm going to do then is take the actual stencil . The other way, Tracy, because it was on the gel plate. There we go. Then what I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to go over with my anti-static bag. And the reason I'm going over with the anti-static bag is you've seen me use lots of moisture. So if I leave that moisture on there, the embossing will go everywhere. So, oh, there's still a little bit of moisture on there. A little bit. Just to add that anti-static bag. My fingers are absolutely filthy. Good thing is you can't tell with my nails. Same colour. There we go. So what I'm going to do then is place my stencil back over. Now you can cut a paper one out if you want, but I'm just going to do it with this because I want the stamping to be quite random. So I've got my Versamark ink and I'm just going to ink, oh, I'm not telling you, I'm just going to ink the Take Flight stamp set. Let's just take the Take Flight stamp set with the Versamark ink. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use it on the acetate. Now the stencil, the actual stencil itself has got a ridge. So you'll only get parts of the stamping, which is what I want. Hence, I'm stamping it through the stencil. If I wanted it perfect, I'd create a copy by cutting it out of copier paper. But I don't want that. I'm just adding little details, just here and there. And I've just chucked it on the floor. And I know it'll be quite random because I'm putting it through a stencil that's got a ridge. Okay. So we should have some there. And then I'm going to take, which side now? That side. I always ink more than I need anyway, so I'm just inking the whole stamp. I'm just going to add a little bit of that stamping, just, and you're not looking for perfection, you're just looking for the background. Let's move this one out of the way at the moment. And it's hailing now again. So I'm then going to take my embossing powder I've got some in there. Did I put any in the tail? No, I didn't. That's fine. So I've got that in there, and then we should have some just on the, and the anti-static bag works beautifully. There we go. Why did I just put the lid on there without putting the embossing powder back? So let's just add this here. The idea is I shouldn't get in too much mess because I'm using minimal product. Right, so just give the heat tool a little bit of a heat. Just give that time. And the idea of these sort of play sessions where I just have a play is we take our time and we don't rush the process. Just takes a little bit longer with this heat tool, but that's fine by me. If you've got the pointed tools, they're a little bit quicker, but a little bit too forceful if you're doing sort of ultra thick techniques, because it blows the embossing powders everywhere. So you just want it sort of quite random, and then we've got the little bird that we added some of the embossing to. It's easy to see it on the dark browny colour, not quite so easy to see it when it's straight on white. Okay, so what you can see is I've got a little bit of embossing there. I've got some embossing on the bird. I'm then going to take the stencil again. Let's place the stencil over the top. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Salvage Patina oxide ink, just like we used with the re-inker. So we'll use the Salvage Patina. I'm getting some of my own blending tools. There should be 5 in a pack. Blending brushes, so they'll be nice coming. So we've got Salvage Patina Distress Oxide. So I'm going to add some of that Salvage Patina. And then I'm going to add a little touch of the cracked pistachio. You can use some sponge if you wish. So I'm just adding a little bit of cracked pistachio just to the colour as well. And then I'm going to add a tiny little bit of Salty Ocean. And just a tiny bit of Salty Ocean, because it is quite a powerful colour. I'm then going to go back to the Salvage Patina and just add a little bit more of the salvaged patina. There we go. And you can see where I've added the stencil, because obviously the ink around, you have like a white area, because that's where you've pressed it down and you get like an edge, which is just lovely. Right, I'm just going to take my whites, which are just made from water, and I'm just going to wipe the embossed area and just clean that up a little bit. So you can do the same. You can just clean your embossed area up just a little bit, just so you can see we've got that colour in there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the selvage patina again. Let's take the selvage patina. And then I'm going to add a little bit of selvage patina just over my card as well, just here and there, just to bring in the selvage patina. There we go. And again, I can just remove the ink just off the embossed area, just to clean it up a little bit. You remove a little bit of ink just so that that is cleaned up a little bit. And then I'm going to, let me just take my Malva, take the Malva stamp. So I'm taking Malva TE8, that's on my desk. And I just like to see how things are going to fit. Now, you can cut this out if you wish. You don't have to do direct to the card, but I think I'm going to do direct to the card. It's entirely up to you how you add that, you know, whether you cut out or whether, like me, you add it direct to the card. I'm then going to take my black ink. I've got wires everywhere. Let's just push them under the desk. There we go. So, do I add that? No. So I'm going to take the Nocturne ink, the VersaFine Clair ink, and I'm just giving that a really good inking. You see, I'm inking this, and then I'm just having a think how I want things to look. Now, I've just inked this in the black. Let me just grab a piece of the copier paper. Let's just grab this piece of copier paper. And I'm just going to take the black back off again because I'm a pain. Let me just, but look how much ink is just on there. It actually looks quite nice, just stamped as a shadow as well. I'm just going to get, now you know I never clean my stamps, but I'm just going to give it a clean because now I've decided I'm going to emboss in white and then colour. And the hilarious thing is I haven't got no colouring mediums out at all. There we go. So let's just clean that again. And the only reason I'm cleaning it is to protect my Versamark, that's all. So I'm now going to take my Versamark, which you can see is super clean, but I am trying to, you know, show good habits, because if I left all that black ink on there, it would just transfer to here. And I know, because I've done it many, many times, transferred the ink where I don't need it. So let's just give this really good inking. And can you see I don't scrimp on that inking? So where do I fancy? Let's have this one here, like so. So just take your time and allow that ink, that sticky ink, to absorb onto here. So just give that just time to absorb on there. Again, can't see a thing. Let's just... There we go. So we've got our malva on there. And these videos where I have a play are going to be longer. So you can easily stop the videos and pause and come back at different stages. Just give that time and we'll just emboss that. You need to keep that away from your original embossing because you don't want to affect that. So just turn your card around as you heat emboss. There we go. Just as you heat emboss, and I'm so pleased that I did it in the white. And what I'm thinking is on here I can sort of have a cluster of the malva around there. Right, now I haven't got my pencils out, which is very naughty. Let's just have a little bit of a shuffle round to get my pencils out. And this is when you end up in a mess because you pull everything out. And then you tidy it back up all over again. Now you can use your water reactive pencils, but just remember that obviously that affects the underlayers as well. So let's grab some colours. So I'm using my Prisma and I'm just going to have a look at what kind of colours that I would like. So what colour are you? And I like to test them. I know a lot of you will have swatches, which is brilliant. Which one? What colour are you? Maybe a little dark. But I like to faff. That's just me all over. What colour is this? Yes, that one. And then we'll just have a little bit of green. I always, even if I've got a swatch, I would still recommend that you do a swatch on your card because then you can see exactly your colours. I don't know whether you can hear the rain, but it is there. Right. So the colours that I've got, and it's obviously a good time to play when it's hailing outside. I've got Light Aqua, PC992, True Blue, PC903, and my Chartreuse, PC989. Just going to give those a little sharpen. Crikey. I'm glad I'm indoors. So there's the lighter colour. I can tell a couple of these, I've used them, put them back and then not sharpened. Probably save myself some time if I actually sharpen them beforehand. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the darker colour by my eye, PC903, and I'm just going to add a little bit of that colour just to my floral, just to the floral. And there's not much area to colour, but it just gives it a little bit more depth and brings those colours into the floral, which is quite nice. I've got hail at this time of year. So we're just going to apply that darker colour. And I'm then going to go to my lighter colour, which is the light aqua, PC992. You can colour in whichever colours you prefer. Just to give a little bit of that colour to the floral. Really lovely colours. And then I'm going to add a little touch of that chartreuse, just to add to my floral. And it's so easy to colour. I don't have to press. It just colours beautifully. And it just adds some life to that floral. Just look at that. And it just works beautifully with this. I think it works really nicely. And I'm going to add a little bit of colour just to a couple of areas on here as well, just to make it more cohesive. In other words, so it just looks like it's all planned, it works together really nicely. So I'm just adding a little bit. Let's add a little bit here. I've really started to enjoy colouring more than ever just lately. So just using the same 3 colours just to add touches so it looks more cohesive. It looks like it was really planned. So I'm just going to add a little bit more depth. Now, because I've got that white embossing, it's just lovely. And I don't have to press hard. I don't have to press hard at all. It works so beautifully. And I'll just go back to the lighter colour. Actually, I might even do a card where I just colour the malva in these colours, you know, because it's just, they're beautiful together. They're just really lovely together. They work so nicely. It's really lovely. I really like it. So I'm going to add a little bit of that cracked pistachio. But what I'm going to do, let's grab a little bit of twisted citron, just to add a little bit of that lightness, because there was a bit of twisted citron on my cut and dry foam anyway. There was a little bit on that. And just adding a little bit of the twisted citron just to the background of my card, just to bring it all together. So what I'm going to do is we'll just spritz everything, and then what I'm going to do is leave that on one side. So leave that on one side at the moment. Let's just clean this up, and then I'm going to go to my other project, and I should have my masks. We will add some white around here so that you can see it. So where's my bird stencil? Do you think I even put it back? Do you think there's much chance of me putting it back? No. And I've got no excuse because I've hardly got anything on my desk. Oh, I put it over here somewhere, didn't I? Oh, on the floor. I knew I'd done something. Right, let's just move this out of the way. So we've got this bird that's got some ink on. So let's just give that a little bit of a spritz. And if you want to, you can then create another little bird. Just give that some time, and you're just mopping up the excess moisture. And you can see if there's a little print. And there you go, you've got another little print you can start a project with. And that's what these little play sessions are about. They're about us experimenting with our products together. There we go. So I'm going to just move to this one just for a little bit while I give the other one a little bit of time just to do its thing and rest, because then I can add white highlights if I wish, not that I need them. But right, so I keep putting this the wrong way. So let's place the bird over here. We'll take the salvage patina. And what I'm trying to show you is how we can work with what we've created. When you've got these flimsy bits, sort of brush away so you don't damage your flimsy bits. I'm sorry, but that just sounded so bizarre. Oh dear. So let's just brush down on those flimsy bits. There we go. And what happens is you give a little bit more emphasis to your little bird, and we're going to continue with that. So just add that there. So now I want to go with the twisted citron. Not the twisted citron, cracked pistachio. Oh dear, there's no hope for me, is there? So we'll try a little bit of cracked pistachio. I'm going to try a little bit of the cracked pistachio. There we go. You can see a little bit of the cracked pistachio. And I can't find the lid. And I get all excited when things start to work. And then I'm going to use the twisted citron. A little bit of the twisted citron. And you're creating your project, you're making it work with what you've created. I'm then going to use the salty ocean. So let's take a little bit of the salty ocean. And I don't want to overpower everything with the salty ocean. So I'm just being mindful that we don't add too much. And we're just sort of working with that so that we've got some of those colours in the background. Again, we could spritz that so that we've got another bird. This is why when you're creating, one thing leads to another each time. Let's move those out of the way. I'm cleaning my hands with a dirty wipe. That makes sense, doesn't it? So let's give those hands a wipe. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add the embossing to my malva. I'm just going to, because I've touched it again, just going to add my anti-static bag just once more. And then we're going to take the Malva. So let's take the Malva. There we go. And then we'll add our first stamped image. Just give that a little bit of time, as always, just to do its thing. Don't lift that up too soon. So now, if you've had enough of watching the video, you can quite easily pause and come back another time. So let's just... But for me, this is how ideas develop. No plan in place, just playing. Let's take that embossing powder and we'll just add. Did we catch that? You see, what's weird is, because I've got white areas in the background from the gel press, I'm thinking it's embossing and it isn't. There we go. So I'm going to do one floral at a time. Just heat that heat tool up. And when you play, sometimes you start working with colours that maybe you otherwise wouldn't use. The white embossing stands out a little bit more. A clear embossing wouldn't be quite as effective, I feel, because the white really gives that some pop, especially when you add a little bit of colour as well. I think that really works. Right, so what we can do now is we're going to take our mask. So if I find my Malva mask, which is that one. The idea of these is that I don't get in a mess, then I can just keep them all tidy. Yeah, right. There we go. So I've got my Malva mask now, and then I can place that over the top, like so, and then we'll ink our stamp again. Let's just give that an inking again with that Versamark. Now my other card, it's got moisture in there, and we've got some nice sort of mottled effect. Just lovely, absolutely lovely. Just bending that card a little bit so that it does exactly what I want it to. So let's just give that a really good inking. And I don't scrimp on that ink because it's clear. You can't see where you're inking, so I tend to be more cautious and ink a little bit more. So let's have this just there. And just give that a little bit of time just to grab hold again. And I love it when you start with a piece of white card and it just looks completely different when you've finished creating. just love it. Let's remove our mask. There we go. Just place this back. I'll show you what I mean with the card. There we go. So can you see here where on the gel press, I keep thinking I've got embossing on there, but that's like the gel press. So I'm just going to heat my heat tool again. Just give that time. And then we'll heat our embossing. I'm enjoying having the lighter evenings. Well, when it's not raining, it just means you can get a bit more done. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, extending the day. But I do love it. I think that's done. There we go. Have I done that bit there? I'd actually missed a bit, and it's so easy to see because it looks so much duller. Right, let's enjoy ourselves with a little bit of colouring now. I am loving this, where the white areas were, and then we just added some of that. Just love it. Okay. And there's still some moisture in that card. I absolutely love the background, how it just transfers. Right, so I'm going to start with my darker colour. I'll mention them one more time, then I won't mention them again because you'll be fed up. So the dark colour is the True Blue, PC 903. The light aqua is my second colour, PC 992. And then I use the chartreuse to bring some sort of lightness to it. So I'm just going to do exactly as I did before and just start with my darkest colour. Just with a few. Do you know what I think I need to do as well? Just grab some kitchen roll. Just fold it like I would a duster. And then I'm just going to buff off the anti-static powder as well. That's better. Just so we haven't got those bits on there. Not that I'm very fussy at all. So we're just going to colour with that dark colour. There we go. So just take a darker colour. Just wonderful. Oh, I've just noticed, did I go in that line? Yeah. Talking to myself. There we go. Let me just emphasise that there. There we go. So we've got the bird on here as well, and we can also add a little bit of colour, if you wish, to your bird. And I'm just adding a very light layer of that colour. Because I would like to leave some of that brown in there as well. Then I'm going to go to my second colour which is the beautiful aqua. And so easy to colour with having that white embossing there. I do like these colours together. You do lose yourself when you're colouring. I'm just going to give a little bit of that. And because you've got that oxide underneath, it really is a different feel to your project. Totally different feel. Which is lovely. And I am going to leave some of that brown on show on the bird. So I'm going to use my chartreuse. Another colour, as you can see, that I use quite a bit. I love colours that bring some lightness and brightness to a design. And chartreuse is a lovely, it is chartreuse, isn't it? Yeah, it is. I thought, am I making that up? Which is about right for me. I'm good at making up names. And I do find with this embossing, it's just so easy to colour. And because of the white embossing and the dark background, it already looks really effective, even with that sort of touches of colour. Where's my, of course, I've not got my white pencil. I said to my friend Lucy, we were talking about it, she kindly got me some white PC 938 pencil. Yay! Thank you, Lucy. And we were just saying, when this gets to about there, I could use it like for a butterfly body or something. Yes, we're both as mad as each other. So I'm just going to blend this out with a little bit of the white. Just so that you've got... So you start with one project and you end up creating something completely different. But isn't that the fun? Isn't that part of the fun of creating, I think? I think that's all part of the fun. I am, can't speak, going to colour a bit more, I've decided. And then I'm going to add some stamping just in the background. So let's just... I love using the PC 938 just to bring some lightness to the design. Just going to come in with a little bit more of that aqua. And if you don't press on too hard, it gives you somewhere to go. You press on too hard and you've got nowhere to go. you can keep adding layers as long as you've not pressed on too hard and broke down the fibres of that card too much, too heavily and too soon. And I am that person that when I just add light layers, I will just keep going over. Because it just, I am finding it very therapeutic at the moment, the colouring. It's just, I'm loving it. And the white just lightens the area a little bit. And of course, before I do anything to that, like add stamping, I'm going to let that rest a little bit. It's important to let that rest. So let's just... So where's my VersaFine Claire, the brown, which is pine cone, and then in the Malva stamp, which is what I love, it's got the text about the Malva, and I love it when I've got some text backgrounds. Let's just take the brown and just add a little bit of the stamping. We'll just go up into our background. Now, I'm not worrying about the embossing. I'm stamping over the embossing, and it sort of pushes, with me stamping on the top, it pushes everything down backwards into the card. I can wipe that embossed area. That's absolutely fine. So the minute you add a little bit of text on some projects, it sort of instantly makes it look a bit like a vintage book. And that Malva text is just finishing everything off beautifully and finishing the project nicely. And this is a permanent ink pad, so that's not going to move. And what I can do, I can just go over my embossed area and remove any of the stamping. What I like is it goes through the floral as well. Just looks really lovely, so I love that. Then let's bring in this one. You get so many ink pads on your desk, you then have to remember to use the right ink pad, which I don't seem to be able to. So using the brown, the pine cone again, and I'm going to add some stamping again. And again, as before, it pushes everything backwards into the card when I'm stamping this over the top. Again, not worrying about the embossing, because I can just clean that area, no problem at all. And I'm sort of aiming here. And don't worry if you don't have a perfect impression, that really doesn't matter. This is a background, it's background stamping. There's no worries about, you know, perfection. There we go. I love little stamps like that. They just finish a project off beautifully. And this Malva stamp, I just adore it. So what I'm going to do then is just take my little wipe or your kitchen roll and just wipe off where it's stuck to the, spit it out Tracy, the embossing. So you can clean that up, no problem at all. But you've got little areas that it goes through the petals, which works rather nicely. Now, let me just fold this copy of paper over because it's not clean. And you're going to blot the text. Just blot your text. Just give that a nice little blot. That piece of copy of paper is well used. And then just give your card a little waft with the heat tool. Now what I don't want you to do is heat it so much that you affect your embossing. You don't want to affect your embossing. You just want to give it a little bit of a waft. Absolutely love them. So we'll sort that one out in a moment. So this I am not putting onto a black mat. I'm putting it straight on to a white card because that instantly pops. And we'll add our white splatters when, no I won't, yes I will, when it's on the card. So let me grab my adhesive. And this is what I adore about creating. I came upstairs, no plan. You know, first of all, I'm thinking, oh, I'll just do a quick video. And then when I get into playing, I lose myself. And I think that's what these sort of play sessions are about on my YouTube channel. So this is going onto my 5x7 card blank. I'm just going to give that just a couple of seconds just to grab hold, just so that it makes good adhesion. Let's make sure that makes good adhesion. I haven't got a card for the other one. I don't think. We can look in my drawer. If not, we'll just cut one. Let me just... It just looks totally different on the white card. And then I'm going to take my wood chip. I bought these for the shop because I just adore little embellishments. I've got these wood chip pieces, and what I'm going to do is, I can't speak properly, I can't even pick the stamps up. Take the text again, chuck it on the desk, and then I'm just going to ink, put it on the acrylic block, Tracy, it's far easier. I'm going to ink that Malva word. I'm just going to put that Don't you just love it when it works? So I've then got that Malva wording on there. Honestly, it doesn't take much to keep me happy. Let me have a look. No, we don't want it there. I want it there. So I'm going to add my little Malva wood piece. You don't have to add any embellishments if you don't want and you want to keep the card flat. But I've shown you how you can create a flat composition if you want to put that in the post. I'm a sucker for a little embellishment touch. I'm just pressing that down just so that it grabs hold of that card. And you can start on a project and think, oh, I'm not too sure. But I tell you what, I adore that. We haven't finished yet. Now, I need to see if I've got a card for this one. You can bet all the tea in China that I won't have it. No, that's a thin card. And the problem is I can't be bothered to look through everything. Let me take my drawer out. Let's take the drawer out. It's far easier. I'm supposed to be getting good and trying to use card that I've cut or backgrounds that I've cut and not waste them. Have I found one? Let me see if it's the same. Oh, hey, I found one. Sorry, it doesn't take much to make me happy, does it? So let's apply this to our card blank. Not supposed to be leaving the lid off my adhesive, but I keep doing it because I get so engrossed in the process and enjoying myself. Let's put the ink on there at the moment. And I actually stamped that Malva in brown. You can stamp it in black if you wish. So again, another 5x7 card blank. Lift it up if you can't quite get it in the right place. Just lift your card up. And then you can use a piece of copier paper if you wish, if you've got really mucky hands, just to press that down. Just adore these. Absolutely adore them. Right. So let's grab our white gel pen. We'll just add a few little touches of the white here and there. That doesn't need it on there. So let's take another wood chip. Oh, I'm loving these. Don't go and drop your ink pad near your work after you've just worked all that time on them. There we go, just lovely. So I can then add this here, just in a slightly different place. Can't pick it up. Let's make sure we've got plenty of adhesive on there. We just need to add our white splatters. Now you can use your bleed proof white just for speed, just so you can see them finished. I am going to add my splatters with my Posca pen. I just love the little bit of splatters. Clean my hands before we pick any cards up, but just so you can see them there, both together, both look a little bit different, which I just adore. Let's lift them up for you, just so you can see the beautiful detail. Absolutely love them. So I hope you enjoyed our little bit of a playtime, and I hope you give this a try and you enjoyed the process. Love to all, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.